You're listening to a segment of the A Play on Nerds podcast. To listen to the full episode, be sure to check us out at aplayonnerds.com or find us on iTunes, YouTube, or SoundCloud. Enjoy!
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.
So I guess that brings us to our special feature all about Fallout.
Woo!
Woo! And I have to say, I do have a special connection to Fallout.
Oh.
Yes.
What kind of special connection do you have?
Nothing sexual, but So
I was hoping you were going to say Star Trek, but now I want a sexual Star Trek connection.
I was hoping that Fallout gave you crabs.
Nope. That might happen in the future. But so, as part of the history, which is a good segue to start off this segment, of the history of Fallout, there was a game called Wasteland in 1988. And most of the creators of Wasteland took a lot of the features from that game and went on to make the PC game Fallout, the first one. So they call it the spiritual successor of Fallout was Wasteland. After Wasteland 2, a lot of those creators left the company, and just recently they made Wasteland 2. After Fallout 2, they left the company and made Wasteland 2. And I did a voiceover for Wasteland 2. I'm in that game.
Oh.
I play Corex the arcade owner. He's a little small part in that game. But so I'm partially connected to the Fallout world in that way. But anyways, somebody want to start us off with like what this is? I mean, I did a little research into it.
So let me tell you what I know about Fallout.
Okay.
Having done no research. So it's like Dungeons and Dragons in a post-apocalyptic world with some first-person shooter stuff, but none of the speed or action of an actual first-person shooter.
I think maybe one or two of his points stuck to maybe the modern games. Maybe. Because it is originally kind of based off of a Dungeons and Dragons system, one called GURPS, which I had never played. Our buddy Owen growing up, he had played a lot of GURPS. But it's a similar thing with rolling dice and making characters, but they put that into a computer form for Fallout 1 and 2, and it's still loosely followed in Fallout 3. But the creator of GURPS wouldn't let them use his system because he said it was too violent. So they had kind of created a deviant? A deviant? Is that right? A variant of it. There you go. But yeah, it was like overhead view, and it's kind of like an RPG. What was it kind of like, Patrick? I mean, I would say you're right on there. It was an overhead view, with a turn-based battle sequence. So it was overhead and open world. We played lots of games like that, especially in the early ages of Super Nintendo, with movie games. Like I remember specifically Jurassic Park. One of the Jurassic Park games was very much like that. Final Fantasy, I think, would have one of the closer feels with the overhead. Walk through a world and then you're in a battle. Just with that sound effect too. I know something that was kept through all three games was the special, which refers to where you invest points for different skill sets. So you had strength and perception, endurance, agility, luck. I think I'm charisma and intelligence. I was like, I'm missing some letters in that word that I didn't spell right.
Yeah, that was the kind of the deviant, or the variant I was talking about of that GURP system. They called it special, and they kind of went out from there. But yeah. But 1 and 2, those were kind of older games. 98, or what was it, 97, I guess, was Fallout 1, and 98 was Fallout 2. And I guess they're both just PC games. They weren't on any systems or platforms.
No, they were. I don't believe they were console-based at all. I do have some notes from at least Fallout 1, some notable voice actors that were
I saw
in
that.
Fallout 1.
There was some incredible ones in there.
Now, of course, we have Ron Perlman. He's the voice of the narrator.
War never changes. Since the dawn of humankind, when our ancestors first discovered the killing power of rock and bone, blood has been spilled in the name of everything from God to justice, to simple psychotic rage.
We have, I only mentioned a few. We definitely have Richard Dean Anderson was in the first Fallout, the guy who played MacGyver, if you're familiar with that.
And Stargate SG-1, he was the lead in that too.
And then we also have Jeff Bennett, probably most well known for doing the voice of Johnny Bravo.
And Jim Cummings, Frank Welker, those are huge voice actors. Tony Shalhoub from Monk fame. CCH Pounder, who's this awesome actress who's in Warehouse 13 as well. She's been in tons of stuff though. And Clancy Brown, who you'll probably recognize his face because he plays characters in tons of movies. He's a big guy with a big, low, gravelly voice. But Fallout 2 had Michael Dorn, Worf himself. I mean, come on. And Dwight Schultz, who is from the A-Team, as well as Star Trek, as Lieutenant Barclay, which is awesome.
I'm glad you had Fallout 2. I couldn't find voice actors for it anywhere.
Oh, you really?
I just assumed it was lame and no one played it.
They only have 4 actors mentioned, and the other one is Jeffrey Jones, who I'm not familiar with, and Cree Summer, but maybe someone in the audience is, and they're yelling at me right now. But the voice list gets more crazy as it goes on, because then Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas have a ridiculous amount. But we can get to those voice actors in a little bit. Because Fallout 3, I think, is where this series went, to everybody, the masses. It became even more popular because it became all these awards and everything. How'd you first get into it, Patrick?
Well, actually, one of our good friends, Zach, introduced me to Fallout 3, and I played it console on the Xbox 360. And then my life was over. I just played Fallout 3 for days and hours and months and years, and I still play Fallout 3 to this day. Today, my wife was playing Fallout 3 because I just recently got her introduced into Fallout 3, so she can understand why I'm going to take off of work and stop bathing and not move from the television screen when Fallout 4 comes out. And now the whole release is becoming widespread. Fallout 3 was released specifically in October 2008, but it was available not only for the PC, but for Xbox 360 and PS3. So that's where that kind of broadening of horizons made it very, very much available, and it adopted the first-person shooter.
As opposed to the overhead view. But the big thing that makes Fallout great, and Steven, have you've seen clips from it and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of general pop culture knowledge at this point. It exists.
Like the Vault Boy is probably the most popular little iconic cheesy 50s little vault guy in the blue costume.
Yeah, and you got to go collect little figurines and shit.
Yeah, and bottle caps and everything. But I'll go ahead and read from the Wikipedia page here about the setting because it describes it better than I probably could. This is for all the games have this kind of same setting. It says the series is set in a fictionalized United States in an alternate history scenario that diverged from our reality following World War II. The transistor was not invented, while vacuum tubes and atomic physics became the cornerstones to scientific progress, eventually achieving the technological aspirations of the early atomic age and locking society into a 1950s cultural stasis. So basically, when everyone comes out of these vaults, they still have like 1950s hairstyles and ideals and speech patterns, and all the advertisements are all 1950s. It's like, they call it atom punk, apparently, is the name of that. Steampunk, there's all kinds of punk.
Sure, that sounds good and made up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I just haven't, certainly it's all 50s based, and I think if we took nuclear technology and was able to make it, your car is nuclear powered. Mm-hmm. Your house runs on a nuclear generator. We took that and we that's where the science is bent.
It's so safe doing that.
Everything is no, but I mean that's the idea that they have developed all the technology to run nuclear and it's safe and small.
Yeah, exactly. And they play all 1950s music because there wasn't really much music made after the world was destroyed in a big nuclear explosion.
Your life isn't complete until you have played hours of Fallout with the radio stations playing in the background. There may only be 6 songs, but they're the best 6 songs in the world. Or the only, depending on how you look at it.
The only 6 songs in the world.
But apparently the 3 games happen in the time frame after the war, like 80 years to after the war 200 years when you get to the 3rd game. So you're kind of popping out of these little vaults and going out into the wasteland of the world and going on adventures and trying to survive, basically.
And now, are there different classes in these games, or?
Kind of, but you get different skills. So you kind of, not really, you don't choose a class, but you pick perks. So you always have a customized character and what they're good at. So you become good at rifles or pistols or knives or that kind of thing. but they don't.
So we can give
wait, is that your class?
Well, you don't get a class because like you can become good at anything you want.
Right, but is there a limit to the amount of things you can become good at?
Yeah, like you'd have to play forever to get good at everything, so it's kind of impossible. You want to focus on something. So if you want to become a really good sniper, it would take a lot of time to get there. So the game would be over.
So sniper is your class?
No, because then you'd also be really good at pistols and really good at building something, and you could become good at a lot of things, but just not all of them. So no two characters would really be completely alike.
To give a little bit of a breakdown, let's for anybody who's never even touched the Fallout franchise, let's go Fallout 3, and this is one I'm going to know the most about. You create a character. One of the big things that was big in Fallout 3 was the amount of customizability. Yes, that's the word I'm going to use. To make the face and the skin tones and the hair, and it was in the genre of time. It was in the it was when there was way too much customizability. But anyway,
Are you drunk already?
He has been drinking, folks. God, just keep that in mind. Patrick has been drinking.
So essentially, you create a set of special skills, like we said before: strength, endurance, perception, agility, luck, and intelligence. Mm. And then all those things affect different skill sets. And skill sets can range anything from barter and charisma to lockpicking and science to medicine to melee weapons, small weapons, big weapons, plasma weapons or futuristic weapons, explosives. So, I mean, each year, depending on how you invest your points in your special skills, which are your core skills, depends on what secondary skills they affect. And then Jarman mentioned perks, and perks are kind of like you in Fallout 3 you get every level, and they're like dumping a large amount of talent into something. So like you might get a perk like heavy back, so now you're stronger, so you can carry more stuff. Or you might get lead belly, which is a fun titled one where you can drink the radiated water without it affecting you. So there's just different skills, and that's how the character is kind of built. Like, as opposed to it being like, oh, I'm going to be a rogue, or I'm going to be a wizard, or it's obviously more modern based than those characters are. But you're right, Steven.
Right, but
you can focus on I want to be really good at future weapons, so plasmas and lasers and that kind of thing. And maybe you carry a laser rifle, or maybe you carry a plasma pistol, but you're focused into that weapon group.
Makes sense.
So, but based off of the traits I'd pick at the beginning, charisma, strength, all that, are there some things I'm just never going to be good at, depending on what I pick?
They could certainly affect your ability to get those other skills super high. So your skills can go up to 100. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And so if you invest all your skills in, like when I play a character, I enjoy being very charismatic. I like being able to be good at speech checks and good at bartering and being able to talk to people. So I may sacrifice being able to use melee weapons and big weapons for that trade-off of skill. Now, I could get those skills high, but it's going to take me the whole game to get those skills high, and they're not useful at that point.
So yeah, you can you boost those things because you're planning on being good at them in the beginning of the game when you create your character.
Ultimately, in Fallout 3, you could become powerful across every field.
True, because there's really no end to the game. Like you can follow the story if you want, but you don't have to. That's why I never finished it. I played it for 70 plus hours because I just goofed around in the towns and shot people and stole their stuff, and then had to leave town because people were after me, and it was just ridiculous. And you can you can buy your own house or just find a place to store your crap, and that's why the honest trailer for this game that was really funny. Did you watch that by chance, Steve?
I did.
Oh, yeah, because it's very true. It's very accurate, just collecting junk all throughout the game. There's one instance where there's ammo in a toilet bowl, and if you accidentally drink the toilet water and your health's too low, you might die.
Right, you die.
Fallout 3. Get ready for another Elder Scrolls game with the look and feel of the Fallout series awkwardly bolted on. Welcome to your new life in post-apocalyptic America, where every creature is a hellish abomination. Most of the humans try to kill you, and just breathing gives you cancer.
So, I mean, a good way to look at that is the game probably has a solid 40 hours worth the main quest content, but there are hundreds of hours of side missions. So it just gives you that wonderful feel of an open world.
Yeah.
Because you can follow the main quest line, or you can wander off and get yourself killed, or you can wander off and meet cool characters.
Is there any penalty to dying?
I forgot.
Other than you died?
You go back to your last save. So it is
Okay.
If you don't save, and like, I mean, it's like any modern game, it has autosave built into it. So, but it's not like a random autosave. It's, you travel through the world, you go through a loading screen. Any loading screen essentially equals autosave.
Okay.
But one of the first things I liked about playing the third one that kind of drew me in was, well, the story, first of all. I feel like you're kind of playing a movie when it first starts out, because you start off in the vault. In one of the vaults that's been like sheltered this whole time, so they don't know any other world besides this vault. Like
and you start out as a child.
Yeah, you grew up there.
Start there.
So you're just a kid. But the voice of your father is played by Liam Neeson. So I'm like, I'm sold. I'm going to play this whole damn game. Cause like,
No, it's my father. Liam Neeson's my father.
He's my father. Shut up.
Well, when I get taken, he's going to come rescue me and not
exactly.
you. So.
But my father has a special set of skills.
That's true.
I will find you, and I will kill you.
Other voice actors in there were Malcolm McDowell, who everyone would know from Star Trek, of course, but also Clockwork Orange and all that kind of thing. And D. Bradley Baker, who basically is the best weird sound voice actor in the entire world. He's renowned for it. He can do any animal noise you possibly want him to do. And so instead of having to find that or Foley it, they can just get him to do it. But yeah, Fallout 3, you're kind of searching for your father after you escape the vault, because the guy in charge of the vault has basically gone crazy. And you have to watch out for...
Spoilers.
Well, that's not giving away too much. But then you have to look out for mutants while you're out there collecting stuff and getting better at your skills so you can try to find your father. And it's just a lot of fun. But I don't know much about New Vegas. I haven't played that, but you have, Patrick. So tell us about that one.
Yes, so New Vegas is what, as far as when I had gotten into the franchise, was what I was waiting for and anticipating and excited about, because it was like, oh, we have another game. I'm going to get to waste more of my life playing. Oh my God, I'm so excited. And New Vegas came out. So 2 years later, we got New Vegas.
It was a smaller game, Vegas, right?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it a small game. It's kind of, it's not small enough to be DLC, but I wouldn't call it big enough to be. It is, but it's not as grand a scale as Fallout 3 was to be its own game.
Gotcha.
Lots of new content as far as in the world, as far as like factions and creation and crafting. And now looking at Fallout 4 and what it's come to, Fallout New Vegas has its place, if that makes sense. As far as what you're going to be able to do in Fallout 4 and what you could do in Fallout 3, this is a good bridge. We just didn't know it was a bridge when it came out. At least that's my interpretation of it.
And they say it is like standalone, where you could play without knowing anything about the other games, because it's...
Absolutely. Yeah. You absolutely can. It has an independent storyline. It takes place in a new location. That's another thing we didn't note. Fallout 3 takes place in Washington, D.C. It is a wonderful landscape, including all of the big landmarks, the monument, the Lincoln Memorial, so on and so forth. And then New Vegas obviously takes place in Vegas. And there is a functional Vegas in New Vegas. So there's lights and things you don't expect to see in a post-apocalyptic world. But no, it is a completely different storyline. It is a lot of fun. We've been playing it on the Twitch. So that's what we've been doing in anticipation for Fallout 4. And I love the game. So call me lazy for just playing the one game, but I love it. So come tune in and watch. But no, you get a lot of new things that you're able to do. New partner characters and things like that, which made it a lot of fun. But it just had a different look and feel. Now, the one thing, as a Fallout 3 fan, when it came out, I certainly felt like it was kind of a little bit of a letdown, because it was almost an identical engine. So it was just like playing Fallout 3 visually.
So there wasn't any improvement then?
No, it didn't feel like it. And on that note, when I played it on a console the first time through, I stopped playing it because the load screens took so long. The first time I've ever stopped playing a game because I was just tired of waiting for load screens.
That's pretty bad.
Now we're playing it on PC for Twitch, and I mean, lickety split. And I found out that Fallout on all fronts is more beautiful on the computer.
That's usually the way it is, unfortunately. Except with the brand new ones, PS4 and stuff like that. If you don't have a top of the line computer, those are gonna be better, I guess. But
agreed.
But man, the voice actors in Fallout New Vegas, my goodness.
Oh my God! So obviously, Fallout 3 was a big deal. Fallout 1 established the franchise. Then we had Fallout 2. Fallout 3 was the oh my God, everyone loves this, widespread. And so they had all that fame and all that recognition to move on to Fallout New Vegas as the bump between Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. And like Jarman was saying, the voice actors, I'll let you take it away, Jarman. I will look at my list and fill in anybody if you missed them.
Oh, sure. First of all, René Auberjonois, who is the actor from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He's fantastic. He was also the chef in, I believe it's not the Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast? Or Little Mermaid? Little Mermaid, yeah, because the fish almost goes into the pot, and he sings a song about cooking the fish.
Poissons, les poissons, how I love les poissons. Love to chop and to serve little fish. First I cut off their heads and I pull out their bones. Ah mais oui, ça c'est toujours délicieux.
Rob Corddry, he's hilarious. He's in this movie. I'm in the movie game. I'm losing my mind now too.
That's just a great description. And the fish shit almost goes in the pot. He sings a song about the fish in the pot.
And then we have John Doman, who I don't recognize his name, but you'll recognize his face. He's in tons of stuff, and he definitely has that kind of grisly voice. He's in the show Gotham right now.
What are you looking at, Jarman? Like the random list of voice actors that no one's ever gonna...
No,
go to IMDb and start at the top. Let's go pop culture. We got Matthew Perry from Friends.
But he's
that 10-year long.
Yeah, Friends has been relevant for a long time now.
He's in Gotham, though. It's a good show. He plays Carmine Falcone in Gotham.
We got your...
Carmine Falcone. Oh.
We have your beloved Felicia Day.
Yes.
She was in Fallout New Vegas. And then my exciting, which I just recently figured out, I had a friend of a Play on Nerds, actually, Alex Massey, shout out for you. She's all over our Facebook all the time, liking things and watching things and helping me keep us nerdy. But she was playing recently, and I was listening in the background because I had the game and she didn't. And I figured out that Michael Hogan from Battlestar Galactica is the doctor that you first interact with in the game. And I was like, I recognize that voice. Is that phone, IMDb? Yes, it is. So go ahead. I'll let you continue.
Oh, no, yeah.
It's like, you're not mentioning anybody I know. And of course, Ron Perlman came back as the narrator in Fallout New Vegas.
And Michael Hogan has a lot of games now. You'll hear his voice around a lot. But also we have Will Wheaton, of course, who's awesome. He plays someone called Robo Brain. Danny Trejo.
Oh, I didn't know that he was in it.
The crazy Danny Trejo is also in there. You got Wayne Newton himself playing Mr. New Vegas.
Hey, I've met Wayne Newton.
You have? Where?
Have you?
Well, in Vegas?
Side story.
All right, so here's my quick story. So at MGM Studios in Disney Orlando, they used to have a thing called the Stars of Tomorrow, where they had a green screen or blue screen, and then they would dress you up, audience members they took as volunteers, and put you in front of the blue screen and put you into your favorite shows. And it was like a stage show sort of thing. Took about 45 minutes, and I got pulled and sat backstage, and I was being set up to play the skipper in Gilligan's Island. And sat in this chair with my skipper outfit on, and sat next to there's an older guy with very big coiffed hair. And I was looking at him and going, yeah, are you nervous? And he went, no, I'm not nervous. So what I didn't realize is that every week they had a celebrity, an actual celebrity on retainer.
What?
To come and do the end shot of this stage show thing. And that week it was Wayne Newton. So I sat and had a 10-minute conversation with Wayne Newton and had no idea who the hell he was.
Did your mother want to kill you afterwards? For not
Afterwards, like, did you get to meet him? And I went, who did I get to meet? Like, I did not realize who he was or that it was actually him.
Just thought he was from the audience or something.
I thought he was just some guy being pulled to play some guy.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
An accidental
story. I asked Wayne Newton if he was nervous about going on stage for an MGM show.
He's like, no, I'm not nervous at all.
No, I'm not. I just want my paycheck.
I don't want to be here. A couple more mentions. Dave Foley from Kids in the Hall does a voice as well. Mm-hmm. And also we got Zachary Levi, who's really funny, and he runs Nerd HQ. He's from Chuck. That's who he recognized from. And Chris Christopherson. Didn't know he was still alive, but yeah, he was. But
yes, he was.
Anyways, that's New Vegas and 4.
So we've talked a lot about the old games. Patrick, what do you think we can expect from the 4th?
Yeah.
Oh man, I am so excited for the release of the 4th. You have no idea. There are not things I can tell you things that you're going to get, not just expect, but get from the 4th game. It is based on a new engine, so it is beautiful. and amazing. There is tons of E3 footage out there for the game. One of the bigger things, I mean, you're going to get everything that you had in the old games. You're going to get the VATS system and the Pip-Boy interaction. We didn't really mention that too much, but there is a menu system that you use that is based on a wrist thing that's worn on the wrist called a Pip-Boy. The VATS system is the in-game bullet time aiming system. It gives you percentages. I'm pretty sure from footage, it's not I can freeze time anymore. It is now actual bullet time, so people continue in motion and movement towards hurting you while you're using the system. But so it makes it a little bit more realistic, more attractive to the people who are more into it for the first-person shooter. Let's see. You're going to get lots of characters back. In the trailer, we definitely get a Mr. Gutsy is the default, but it's a Codsworth, I believe, is the robot's name we see in the trailer. Yes, Codsworth, which is one of the robot types. If you look at the trailer, so a lot of characters coming back. A lot of the gameplay styles that we're used to are coming back. Officially, Fallout 4 takes place 200 years after the Great War. You start out pre-war and learning about the lifestyle and the family, and before you go into the vault. And when you come out, it's 200 years later. And then that's where the game starts off. Some things that have been released, not only do you get all the gameplay that you're used to, but they're going to have a much more extensive crafting system. So as opposed to in the old games, one of the things Bethesda loves to do is load their worlds with junk. Everything and anything you can interact with, you can pick it up, you can take it with you, you can sell it to a vendor. But in the old games, you had specific things that you knew were just junk. Junk was junk, and all it had was the value it did nothing else. In the new game, even junk can be taken apart to make other things. So it's got a much bigger, huge crafting system that wasn't apparent in the other games, which is awesome to bring in there. And then something that's all new and very exciting is you essentially can build your own bases now. So there are areas in the world which you can interact, which you get to build the building you live in. So you get to customize it. So you're getting kind of like this Sims-esque kind of building ability to add rooms and floors and things like that. But then you also get tower defense style things because you're building these buildings, you will be raided. Raiders, one of the main bad guys in the game, will come try to take your forts and try to steal your stuff. So you get to build turrets and defenses and power and lights and all kinds of awesomeness. So those are some of the really exciting things we know so far coming into the new game.
And what's weird is that they were going to make a MMORPG version of Fallout up until 2008, 2009, and they got in such a huge legal battle between the other company that used to develop it, Interplay, with Bethesda, and who owned what rights to do what. And so finally it just got shut down. It was in beta mode and never made it out, but it came really close, because if that happened, they probably wouldn't have had Fallout 4. Or Fallout New Vegas, that is.
Some of the things that were exciting leading up to this, there was the talk of the MMORPG, which I think was eventually codenamed something like Failure, or something of that nature, because of it, just it falling apart. And something else exciting, in the third game, you did have a companion you were able to get named Dogmeat. And everybody loved having the dog companion to help you do things. There is a dog in the new game. That is one of the things that everyone's excited about. You do have a dog companion, and it's one of the first things you encounter in the game, according to trailers and gameplay releases.
Well, I will say these new games, at least the third one in New Vegas, are great storytelling games and open world games, kind of like, and not quite the same, but like BioShock. This creates this new world. It's all original and all interesting, and you can follow a story that's really fascinating and different. So I think it's a great series, and I wish I had more time to play them.
I agree. I would definitely say if you're interested, if you are listening to this podcast and have never touched anything Fallout, and you are interested in playing, you can absolutely go out and I would start with Fallout 3. And if you want to go way back, you can. Fallout 3 is a great first-time experience. I would suggest it on the console. If you are a computer game player, at your own risk, because it's not compatible. It's not 100% compatible with Windows 7 and newer. And I couldn't tell you anything about Mac. So, but console, it works, and it's very, very beautiful, and it's very fun to play. If you're a PC gamer, definitely go New Vegas. Although you don't get that Fallout 3 original experience, it works and it's made to work on newer technology. And then Fallout 4, I mean, by all means, do what you want. We're going to do PS4 here on Twitch, so.
Well, if you want to test it out, just watch Patrick up on these next couple of Twitch streams. You can see him playing it first. There you go.
So I'm going to go ahead and give this one a burn it. I'm not sure. No?
You're in the wrong phase here, buddy.
Is that not what we're doing right now?
No, it's okay. It's okay. I've got something for Steven. I'm going to say shut up, and they've already taken my money. I have already pre-ordered.
Yeah, shut up and take my money.
I'll say I've gained weight playing this game, so F you, Bethesda.
Yeah, there you go. And if you're one of the Bethesda insiders, meaning at one point in your life you worked retail, the site's under construction, so hopefully we'll get some. Maybe they'll be handing out some free stuff as well. So,
ooh,
well, there you go.
All right, well, thank you for the discussion of Fallout and bringing your expertise and knowledge that we just did not have.
Absolutely,
you're welcome.